You know, line choices when you're fishing around grass, it depends. The verdict's still out, like on the lipless crankbait. There are certain situations when I'll throw it on braid. You know, when the water's colder and you're fishing real heavy grass, and because the deal is with the braid, you can just barely pull it and take, the grass off of it. And also when you're reeling it slow, you can tell if it's got that grass, just one little piece of grass, and it'll change the vibration. One of the drawbacks to using is having a no-stretch line tied to those trebles. But during the colder months of the year, when the fish don't jump as much and their bodies are a lot harder, I know most people, you can tell the difference if you catch a fish out of cold water, how hard they feel. And you catch one out of hot water, they're real soft. And the hooks will have a tendency to tear out a lot easier when the water's warmer. So when the water's warmer, it's strictly a fluorocarbon deal for me, cranking or lipless crankbait, whatever I'm doing in the grass. And then during the colder months, depending, if the grass is heavy, I'll have a tendency to go to, braid on my lipless crankbait. Not so much on my crankbait, but just on my lipless crankbait. Spinnerbait, again, I like fluorocarbon or mono, either one. That's just up to the individual. Now, when I'm flipping grass, 100% braid. I mean, because there's no reason not to use it, because even regardless of how clear the water is, because that fish can't distinguish between the braid and the grass. And, I paint it green. The other deal is braid carries no light, so there's no chance of the line shining, in the grass. And normally that bite happens so quick, well, like the last couple I've caught here, it happens on the initial or the first time I pick up, so the fish isn't spending a lot of time looking at the, at the scenario. Now, if I'm fishing holes in the grass during the spawn, the water's extremely clear, dragging a bait out here on the outside edge, dead sticking that caffeine shad in the grass, which is, a killer technique for catching them early in the year, it's a fluorocarbon only deal. If there's a chance, I'm having to leave the bait around that fish a long time, to entice it into biting. Then I think there's a chance, that the fish could see the line, and then I will go to, go to fluorocarbon. The topwater bait, again, that's kind of up to the individual. Some people like braid, some people like mono. I'll experiment with both. Again, during the colder months, I like the braid because the fish is hard, but during the warmer months, I like mono. Fish jump a lot. They jump a lot after the spawn too, when they're post-spawn. They just seem to, they're long and lean. They're not as heavy as they were, and they just seem like they jump a lot during that period of time. And the water's warming up, so I'll have a tendency to stick with mono on my topwater baits and crank with fluorocarbon. The big reason for cranking with fluorocarbon, two reasons really, is the sensitivity. I can tell what the bait's doing. The other deal is, fluorocarbon has less stretch in it than monofilament. So when that bait hangs in the grass, I can, get the bait out, get it cleaner a lot quicker. I can distinguish between the grass and the, and a fish. Because a lot of times what will happen, you'll crank that bait down into that grass and that fish will get it, and they don't always crush it. A lot of times they just easy, and I can feel. That line will have a tendency between, when it's pulling on the grass, it'll pull clean, you'll feel it. And then when it pulls, and a fish has got it, I'll pick up, and it'll be like, I feel it kind of screech, and I can tell the difference in the bite. You'll feel a little bit of roughness on the, on the line. Nothing beats flipping grass. It's just fun. All these fish I've caught so far this morning, I see the line. That's another reason I like braid. You can see it so well. And I paint about the last 3 foot of it green. And then as it fades up the line, it is, it's brighter. I can see it, on a cloudy day or whatever. And it helps me. And so I paint the part that there's a chance that the fish would see. And actually, in all honesty, there's a chance they would bite it if I didn't paint it. I do that for me more so than for them. If I think it looks good, I'll do a better job of fishing it. I keep thinking it's gonna be a good one.
Every Lund boat is a feat of engineering, but don't take our word for it. Listen to what the pros who make their living in Lund boats have to say.
Lund, fishability.
Construction and durability for many, many seasons.
High-end performance.
Industry-leading innovation.
Pro-designed layouts.
The best boat control on the water.
Storage where you need it.
State-of-the-art live wells.
Lund boats, built by fishermen for fishermen.